Tess. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm super excited for, I guess I should say, tonight's video because I'm filming at night. I'm so excited for this one because it's been, I guess, a long time coming and it's been super inspired. I was thinking about everything I wanted to say on my plane ride home, coming from Thanksgiving, and it just felt so appropriate because this Thanksgiving, the major thing that's really resonated as what I'm thankful for is you guys. I'm so thankful to have this community, and it's so true whenever you hear somebody say your experiences aren't as meaningful unless they're shared. And as much as I love what I do, you guys are a big part of my why, and that's something I've discovered this year. So I'm so thankful for you guys. I love our conversations, and I hope you guys can think of me as a friend, maybe a mentor, and ask me whatever questions come up for you. It's a question, probably the most asked question you guys come to me for. I happen to be listening to a certain podcast that's been super motivational as far as my career and how I think business-wise. So I happened to be listening to this podcast while I was coming back from Thanksgiving, and I got a DM with this question, and I just realized I should really share a lot of the information and resources that motivate me. And so thank you guys for sharing in this with me. You make what I do that much more meaningful because I want to be a sister, role model, friend, mentor to you guys. So I'm so thankful for you guys. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. It would mean so much if you guys subscribe, join the family. You can always ask me literally anything. I'm always here for you. If you guys like this video, if it imparts some knowledge, it provides some value, if it's just a little bit entertaining and provides some escape from your normal daily life, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and let's just get into the video there. So Christy asked, well, she said, watched a ton of your videos. They've really helped me navigate through my decision to go to SD school. Definitely a passion of mine, and I'm very excited to be starting in February. Thank you for all your advice. But I do have a few concerns with going into this. I've heard many horror stories about job availability being scarce outside of school, and the pay is not good in many cases. I do know you need to do what you love, and that's why I've chosen to start this career. I wanted to ask if finding a job that suits you has been tough, and if you have any specific tips. I love this question. It's such a good question. And with my advice, everything I say is circumstantial. Everybody lives in a different place, has different spending habits, has a different expectation of what a good salary is, has different backgrounds. Maybe you have kids, maybe you have a mortgage, maybe you're just paying rent. There's so many variables. So what I will say is something I believe is very important is having an abundance mindset. Now, Christy said this is one of her passions, and she knows it's important to do what you love. If you truly love this, and again, that's something you may have to just try, the money will come. I just firmly believe that. Yes, there might be safer jobs, and maybe your parents or your family members expect you to be a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, a salesperson, an entertainment editor like me. There's so many pressures. At the end of the day, you have to love what you are doing because you're the only one doing it. There's also just so many different types of estheticians. You may be someone doing this as a second career. You may be doing this 2 days a week versus as 5 versus 7. So it's definitely a career in which you will make sacrifices. Maybe you are working on the weekends, maybe you are working until 8 p.m. End of the day, I'm not really someone who likes to sit at a desk 5 days a week from 9 to 5. So it just depends on what you love doing. And when you do love what you do, I promise your day flies by. Another thing I wanted to say was I feel like so many 20-somethings, and this is something this motivational speaker I listen to really addresses and confronts. His name is Gary Vaynerchuck. He owns a media company, started out in the wine business. He's now a motivational speaker, is an immigrant. And something he really addresses is the fact that you need to try things. Not enough people are trying things and gathering experiences. So many people are sticking in a route because they've come so far. They don't really know what their passion is. They don't know what they do otherwise. They feel like it's too late, which is never really the case. For me, that's something I struggle with all the time. I can get so down on myself and feel very insecure when I'm talking to peers, just because I feel like there is this expectation of what we're all supposed to do, and it's different for every society, or depends on the way you are raised. For me, I feel like the norm and the expectation is to fit in this box where you work 9 to 5 at a desk. And that is something I really struggle with telling myself doesn't have to be for me. I think the way to success, as cheesy as it sounds, we all hear this every day, but the secret really is doing what you love. And I think you really do have to pay attention to your strengths and weaknesses. Doesn't mean if you're not naturally the best at it off the bat, doesn't mean it's necessarily not for you. I know my strength is as a writer. I am pretty introverted. I've always excelled in writing and reading. I was an English major, it's what I went to college for. It's what I spent years grinding towards, working towards, and it just trips me out sometimes that that's not what I'm doing anymore. And even talking to family members at Thanksgiving, it's such a surprise that this is my career now. If you really think this is a career you think you would enjoy, you need to ask yourself, do you like working with people? Do you like working with your hands? Do you like really connecting with people one-on-one and giving them your undivided attention and pouring your heart into that connection? Do you like improving people's lives? Do you like health and wellness? Do you like studying ingredients? Do you need to sit at a desk? Do you need to make X amount of money? Lots of different questions, and I really think the only way for you guys to know if it's for you is to try it. I know a lot of you are so nervous going into it, but the only way you'll ever know is if you try. I'm honestly still trying. Really, you just learn as you go along, and school really is the first step. So I think you guys owe it to yourselves to try it rather than picking something that feels safe. And if you end up loving it, I promise you'll be rewarded for it. Maybe you guys love it and then there's a next step. Maybe you love it and you start your own skincare line. Maybe you love esthetician school and you get your nursing license. Maybe you want to open your own spa. Maybe you want to open a franchise. Maybe you become a sort of personality like Shani Darden or Narita Joy. Maybe you become an educator. There's so many opportunities, and I want you guys to have this abundance mindset where you are just ruthless. You know you love it and you just keep pushing forward to the next thing. I don't want you guys to think you're going into a position of scarcity, because that's not going to move you forward. And to tell you the truth, the research is really proving otherwise. The beauty industry is a billion-dollar industry. Millennials, the generations growing up now, I think are viewing beauty and self-care as more of an essential and more of a part of almost hygiene and necessary kind of things to take care of themselves. I don't think facials are viewed as this frivolous thing anymore. I don't think skincare is really viewed as an extra thing. I think it's really where people are saving a lot of their money and investing. So I think only big things are to come. I think the future looks really strong for estheticians. I have never had the experience of feeling like it's a scarce industry. Honestly, quite the opposite. After always wanting to work in media and marketing, those kind of jobs I truly felt were scarce, and that you could be paid the bare minimum because somebody was always ready to take your spot. Somebody was always hungry, even to work for free. So I feel like the bar is only raising for estheticians. And one thing I will say in regards to your finances, I think kind of the positions you do want to avoid are those where you are being paid per client and per service. Those may be jobs you have to take at the beginning of your career, but I don't think it should be something you settle for or accept. I shouldn't say settle, something you accept for the long haul, because I know your time is valuable. That being said, you shouldn't have an ego attached to your time. As Gary says, it's one of the few things you really have going for yourself. Unless you are being paid for your time and skills, you're really not worth that amount. So it may take some experiences, some time spent in the industry. The second part to this, and this was actually my direct advice to Christy, what I responded with, is to, especially while you're in school, set up some informational interviews. That way, early on in the process, you can get a better gauge on what the expectations for this role really are. I did this after school, and one regret I do have is not doing it sooner. I really let myself sit with the question, what's next? For the whole time I was in school. Whenever people would ask what I wanted to do with my license, I just knew I loved skincare and wanted to focus on that. I didn't really know in what capacity. I didn't know if I'd have to give up my other job. I was really very unsure. So what I recommend doing for your own sakes, for your own peace of mind, is writing down 3 to 5 spas or whatever possible realm you think you want to go into, whether you want to be a makeup artist, whether you want to be a skincare rep, whether you want to create your own product, whether you want to just be an esthetician, work in a spa, whether you want to do facials mainly, whether you want to do waxing. Just pick the type of company you would want to work at. Again, write down a list of 3 to 5 places, call them or email them. I think email really is best. I think calling is a little bit more old school and you don't know who's gonna answer the phone. I think emailing is the best way. Always attach a cover letter and a resume. I do have a video where I go into my cover letter if you guys kind of want to hear what I said and what you could potentially kind of outline. So I'll link that video below. But go on these informational interviews. Don't be shy. Ask them what the average salary of the esthetician who work there is. It's a question you probably need to address for your own planning of finances. So don't let it be a surprise later down the line. Get a sense of what the realistic salary is in your area. I think you'll also be really surprised to see the different types of pay structures that exist. So if you guys can get a sense of that early on, I think that will only help you. And if their answers really don't meet your needs, at the end of the day, that is very important. And if you can't supplement that, maybe it's something, a stress you're not willing to put up with, and you decide to go a different route, that is fine. My message to you is really to just do you, define your goals on your own terms, not based on what your parents expect from you, what your peers expect from you, even this like ideal image you're projecting on yourself. Ignore it. What you see on social media, ignore it. It's all garbage, and the sooner you can not care what people think, like, the better off you are. Nobody feels that way 100% of the time, but there's a big difference. Speaking personally, there's a big difference in me today versus 5 years ago. I probably never would have thought I was like cool enough, had enough to say, was pretty enough to start a YouTube channel. I literally couldn't care less what those 8 people I'm worried about in my head think of me nowadays. It's just like, take it or leave it, you know? I'm gonna be myself, and hopefully that attracts somebody who admires that, because that's really what I appreciate about other people. Someone who just does what they want to do and is unapologetically themselves, pursues their passion mercilessly. So I want you guys to be like that. Make your own decisions based on what you really love, and I think you guys will just reap the benefits and the rewards. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this spiel. I will of course link Gary's podcast. He's amazing, so motivational. It reminds me that we're truly blessed to have this opportunity to live this life as humans. Like, our odds were 1,000,000 to 1. We're standing here, we really are the lucky ones. So take that and give it everything. Do exactly what you want to do. So that is my career advice. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you so, so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
I just wanna chill and twist the lie. Catch stunts in my 745.